Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and to some of you, good night, fellow Nigerians around the world. I am George Onyibi, and a very quick one this morning. A message I simply titled, "The Fear of Nigeria Should Be the Beginning of the Application of Wisdom." The fear of Nigeria should be the beginning of the application of wisdom. You see, just like when the Bible says that the fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom, which is in Proverbs chapter 9, verse 10. I want to address this very topic, reflecting, revealing fear in a positive direction, not in a negative way. And so when I say the fear of Nigeria, it is like when the Bible says the fear of the Lord. And now understand, first of all, that the word fear, which could be interpreted as false evidence appearing real, was projected in the Bible 366 times. And some scholars believe that out of these 366, each one of them is for a day. And so every day, the Bible admonishes us not to fear anything. Only in one condition that the Bible says fear, and that is fear the Lord. And you see, the Bible actually presents fear in both dimensions, negatively or positively. But we are encouraged to toe on the path of positivity. And so God says, fear me, for instance. And we know, based on our understanding or knowledge about fear, no loving father will want their children to fear them. And so, except you view it from the angle of love, hope, you will not see God as a loving father if we truly have to fear him. And so, when I'm talking about the fear of Nigeria, if it is our country, we should not be afraid of Nigeria on the negative context of it. But rather, that same fear we admonish to fear God should become a guiding force to enable us to survive in Nigeria. Let me digress. When the Bible says the fear of God is the beginning of wisdom, understand, most people do not believe that there is God. They are not my concern this morning. Because after all, the Bible says only fools say there is no God. Most people want to interpret God into what God is not. It's okay. And of course, in time past, many people have said a lot of things about God because they do not have the fear of God. But let me tell you one truth about myself. I rather believe that there is God and fear him out of reverence and be a fool than to think I'm wise. And because of criminal-minded individuals everywhere, I dash it out that there is no God. I believe there is a creator. I believe there is a supreme being who had no beginning nor ending. I believe there is somebody who owns this universe. It belongs to somebody. Based on our limited knowledge and revelation on our disposal, we may not be able to know him fully on this stage where we find ourselves. And so I fear God. I fear him not to offend him. I do not fear him. That makes me to tremble. And so because we fear him, it leads us to begin to look for what to do in order not to offend him. You know, there is a Christian song I love so much, and it says, "Anamacho imaraya kanwera pokpasu giwe onye nwe m na Chineke n'ala anamacho imara gi." The fear we have only drives us to want to know him in order not to offend him. And this is the trust, or this is the fear rather, we should consider as the beginning of wisdom as Nigeria. The fear of Nigeria I say you should have. It's not the fear to look at Nigerian military and begin to tremble, look at Nigerian police and begin to tremble, look at Nigerian police and begin to tremble. No, the fear that will make you see Nigeria from the positive side of it. And of course, if I want to look at the negative aspect of fear, this is one thing nobody should entertain. And when you look at the book of Job, when calamity struck Job, the first thing he said is that which I fear has come upon me. And which means Job had been afraid that those things that happened to him should happen to him somewhere in the future. And that fear became reality. I do not want to go deeper than this so that I will not turn it to church service. But rather, let's go back to Nigeria so that you understand. When they say fear Nigeria, this fear is not the fear to be trembled. But this fear should be born out of the desire to develop a defense mechanism that will enable you to be able to improvise at every given time. And that is why this morning I say, let's look at it. The fear of Nigeria. The fear we should have for Nigeria. Let it become the application of this fear. Each time we feel we are afraid of Nigeria, let it give birth to the wisdom that will enable us to survive in Nigeria. As you see, a lot of things are going wrong. A lot of things are out of order, I should say. And if you do not develop fear in a positive side, the system which is designed already out of insincerity, all of us will die inside it. And now let's look at some aspect of the fear. A lot of people who know me, they are afraid. They fear for my life. Why do they fear for my life? They say you are challenging Igbo people. Igbo people will kill you. Igbo people will do this. Igbo people will do that. And this may not be true. But a lot of people, most especially Igbo people, have been living in the prison of fear all their life. And so when Igbo people see wrong, they can't see it because they are afraid. If I say it now, my fellow Igbo will kill me. In fact, some of them have confronted me and they told me if I were to be from the southeast, by now I would have been dead. But I thank God I'm not from the southeast. And if I were to be from the southeast, I will make sure that after my time, you will not kill another person again. Nobody will keep quiet again because they are afraid. And so a lot of people who are not even from the southeast are afraid. You are attacking Igbo people, they will kill you. Do I have gun? No. Am I macho man? No. Do I have connection? No. I'm even living in an uncompleted building. I don't have money. But you see, I do not have fear for them. And so when they are wrong, I tell them that they are wrong. And believe me, they will not be able to do anything. I am not boasting. But why should I be afraid that you are doing bad and I'm telling you that you are doing bad? And I know fully well that if I do not call you out, that bad will not only destroy me, it will destroy my children. It will destroy my family member. It will destroy people from my community. It will destroy the entire Nigeria. Eventually, it will destroy yourself. The fear we entertain in Nigeria is that we are afraid to confront the corrupt politicians because they're very powerful. They will use the system against you and you are gone. The very fear we have developed to entertain, you fear everybody. But the people you are afraid of, they are not monsters. All that we needed to do is to confront them with this fear that gives birth to reference and allow them to see the errors of their way. You will see they have conscience. Let me explain something to you. One day there is a broken vehicle around my factory then. And we don't actually know who owns that vehicle, but it has been there maybe more than 10 years before I rented that very property. And then one day, some people have been taking note of that very vehicle. And one day, early morning like this, they brought to a van to take that motor. And I knew they were not the owner. I knew they were scavengers. They came to pull it because they have concluded that the owner of that vehicle is not ascertained. And I confronted them. And I said, who owns this vehicle you people are towing? One of them said, it's my own, it's my own. I said, please, can I see the document? He said, what is your business? I said, I'm the one that rented this property. I'm going to redeem accountability for anything that happens to this vehicle when the real landlord comes. But I know the landlord is not the owner of that vehicle because he don't even know. But I have to ask question. And the people say, what do I mean? They were not even listening to me. They started jacking the vehicle to tow it away. But what they didn't count on was that most boys around there were my workers. And I stopped the guys. He stopped jacking that vehicle until I see the document. They descended on me. And then my workers came out and the fight was really heavy because they were up to like 7. And the people working for me were up to like 22. This was what they didn't count on. And there were serious crises. Why they were running helter-skelter looking for road and how to disappear? Because we have heard the two in Van Dam. And then a military convoy came. An army officer, high-ranking officer, was traveling to the airport that day. And when they saw the commotion that was caused already, they have to stop. And immediately the army convoy stopped. Everybody ran away, except me. And those army on part of one of those healers bus jumped down, rushed towards me, and they started slapping me. I did not run. I did not panic. I was just looking at them. Gave me up to like 5 slaps. Tried to brush me down. I refused to fall. And I didn't run. But everybody has run away. And their leader was watching us. Whoever they were carrying was watching them. He wind down his glass and said, "Leave that man." And he beckoned on me to come. And so I went to him. He said, "What happened?" "This thing I'm telling you, they were holed up everywhere already." I explained to him. He said, "I'm sorry. Forgive my men for what they have done to you." I told him I understand. And that is how they left. But then later on, people started clapping for me. "Oh, you get morale. Hey, you get morale." It's not morale. I don't have morale. A guilty conscience fears no accusation. I don't have morale. I just want to make sure you are not stealing the vehicle. Now it's evidence you are a criminal. I received slap for defending a property of somebody I did not know, not yesterday, not today, and I'm sure I will not know the owner of that vehicle till tomorrow. But I made sure those people didn't steal it. And one of them came to me and said, "But why you no run? What did really happen?" And then another person said that, "You see these army people, if you do something and you start begging them, you will suffer times 2. Because it's obvious that you are responsible." He said, "But when you are dealing with the real army and they confront you and they see you are not panicking and you are not begging, they begin to see you're innocent in that." They said they were watching me. I didn't panic. I was not shivering. That is what prompted their leader to stop them and intervene. He was a very humble man. But that does not mean I will go and be challenging army to prove that I'm fearless. No, it is not necessary. This is applicable in the case of Nigeria. You will not come out and say the truth because you are afraid Yoruba will come together and squeeze you. You are afraid Hausa will put up their power and destroy you. You are afraid Igbo will gang up and destroy you. You are afraid Wazobia will conspire and destroy you because you are a minority. And of course, a lot of people have died trying to do this. And each time we fear treading on the path that we tread, each time we prolong our suffering in the context of one Nigeria. This is the time to empty our fears. This is the time to make it clear that we are not here to conquer anybody. And certainly we don't want anybody to conquer us. The beginning of the wisdom is that this is the time we need to confront situation and circumstance that are not favorable to us, that has become threats to our very existence in our own country. This is the time to appeal to their conscience and tell them to do the right thing. Let there be an all-inclusive system of government where no Nigerian will be seen as Wazobia, because that is the problem of all this. This is the time for you to come out and tell Igbo man that you are not Igbo. If you like, let him take my father to be the Ohanese Igbo. This is the time to you to tell these Igbo people that you are not Biafra. Anything they like, let him do. But in the end, if they face this matter of the truth, you will see they are guilty. They are the one that is supposed to be afraid. And so when we say the fear of Nigeria, I'm not telling you to be afraid of saying the truth. I'm not telling you to be afraid of confronting these monsters. For how many years now? Over 5 decades. We hear story how they kill Igbo people. Nigeria kill Igbo people. Nigeria kill Igbo people. Igbo people capitalize this Igbo Biafra to reap on the emotion of everybody, even the global community. Blackmail everybody. But they never tell you the non-Igbo, the history of non-Igbo that died because of Igbo man agenda. It's okay, Isaac Adakaboro pulled for secession under the leadership of one Nigeria headed by Igbo man, Agu Yorunsi and Odumegwu Ojukwu. And to stop Isaac Adakaboro all his kingsmen who followed him, because of the level of information at their disposal in a time like that, all of them were gone down. We don't hear about them. We can move on to say why the issue of Biafra war was going on. It's true a lot of Igbo died. But it is also true that more non-Igbo died. Some in the hand of Nigerian military, you consider them as collateral damage. Some in the hand of Biafra military, you consider them murdered in cold blood. I talked to a Calabar man some time ago when I was advocating for Biafra. And the man called me aside. I have said it before. I said, if you are not the man I know and I respect so much, with what you have said, I will make you regret it. He told me how his father died. He told me what they went through. He told me that even 10 years, many years after the war, rather, that most fishes they kill in the ocean, some of them have human finger, some of them have human hair. That was after the war. Who are these people? Who are these people? Unaccounted for. But when Igbo people are telling you, look at what Biafra will do, how they kill Biafra, they gave you Kwashoko children. How I wish we suffered Kwashoko and our dead body was sent and some of us survived. But they never tell you that in our region, in the non-Igbo communities, in the then old eastern region, they will never tell you that these people were actually killed, murdered, buried in shallow grave, some of their dead body thrown into the ocean, and nobody's talking about them. And each time they cry for 10 pounds, they will not tell you that they invaded Midwestern region, looted everything lootable, and left us penniless. And the fear you should fear is not the fear of exposing these things. We know this thing before we joined Biafra agitation. All we wanted is to come forward and then scratch each other at the back and simply confess to one another and said, we have all been wounded. Honestly, every Nigerian has been wounded. Whether it is now, whether it is later, every Nigerian has been wounded. Just that it is the minority that have been constantly wounded without them thinking otherwise. The Yoruba has been wounded in the name of one Nigeria. The Hausa have been wounded in the name of one Nigeria. The Igbo have been wounded in the name of one Nigeria. But these people have put an end to their injury. But they continue to injure the minority. But that is not the area I want you to pay attention to. The attention is that we're supposed to come together and say, bro, we've all been wounded. Let's heal ourselves. But the more we progress, we discover that this is just another way of reintroducing pain in the life of other people, while trying to create a position that they do not merit. That is what Biafra agitation is all about. And then you are afraid to say the truth. And then you will lose more than you fear for. That thing you fear for will come upon you. Oh, we are Benin people. We are afraid. We can't talk to Igbo. All this insult. Let's go to court. Which court are you going to? Which court? Who is going to preside over that court? You, Benin. They go to court with Igbo man. I sue you to Igbo. That Igbo is insulting Benin. Benin Igbo will not say we didn't insult Benin. Benin was insulted us. What kind of rubbish is that? Who thought about that? You have not heard that assumption does not have legal backup in the law court. You know, no say court no they judge juju matter. You know, no say court no they judge juju matter. My friend, you have passed that stage, honestly. And then we now come with the Anyama people. We have said we are not Igbo. We are taking Nigerian Igbo people to court to tell them that we are not Igbo. We want to claim. Who does that? Did Igbo people take you to court to claim you? If Igbo man did not take me to competent court jurisdiction to claim that Abo is Igbo, Ikure is Igbo, and our land is Igbo land, we will respond to them as they address it. Because if you go to court, you will lose every moral ground. In fact, you will be shut up. Let them go to the court. Why am I saying this? This is the only area we are not supposed to be afraid of. Confronting these issues, which has already registered danger in order for us to survive. We go to my last post and see just a few articles I published by one Akwa Ibom man. I'm going to publish more from Ijaw people. I'm going to publish more from Midwestern region. And I want you Igbo people to read it and enjoy. Insult me there and tell me it's a lie. But let us come back home. If you are not making your people's voice to be heard, most especially in a time where the power of the sun is in the palm of our hand, that is your Android phone, I'm sorry, your people are gone forever. And that is why we keep telling everybody, we are not here to attack anybody. We are here to renovate and to tell our story by ourselves. Of course, you know when the hunter writes what happened between him and the animal, he's going to write against the animal. He's the hunter. He will write the letter, the history in his favor. Have you seen colonial master ever shown remorse what they did? Only few of them. The Catholic Church was involved in slavery. If we were afraid and never confronted them, they would not apologize. The Anglican Church was involved in slavery, and they are taking us to heaven. If we have not confronted them, they will not apologize. And so when all these criminals, brood of vipers, all this bunch of heartless people descend on your people, you don't need to fear them. You need to confront them. But that is not the aspect of fear I am talking about. The fear of Nigeria that I'm talking about is like when the Bible says the fear of the Lord. It comes in this dimension. You see, I'm afraid that one day I will have children who are graduates in Nigeria and they will not be employed. Not because I have had children at that time, but because I see that almost 99.9% of all my family members were all graduates, PhD holders, but none of them has employment. One of them was an engineer. He ended up selling motor parts. The other one studied pharmacy. He ended up selling chemist. It's only those who read law could end up becoming charge and bail lawyer if they don't have money to open their chamber. And I pity for those of them that studied philosopher. Although those of them who were on education center ended up being professor. But it has to take their life when they have served one university all their lives. The only way to compensate them is just call them prof. And honestly, we fear that in this Nigeria, our children may be very educated, but they will not be employed because we don't know anybody. This is what we fear. We live in a Nigeria where we fear that when we have issue with another person from the Wazobia, if I have problem with Hausa man now, I fear I will not have justice system. Nigerian police will not arrest Hausa because of the federal court. I still fear the Igbo man. They will have more mouth than me in any Nigerian police, including the Yoruba man. These are what we fear. We fear that what Igbo is doing to us in the name of Biafra and unity begging, if we are the one doing it to them, they will be cried to the whole world. Oh, United Nations, you see them. Oh, World Bank International, you hear them. Oh, Nigeria, you will hear them lament. I fear we may not grow to this capacity to confront this monster. And just like the Bible says, the fear of the Lord. The fear of this thing in Nigeria. Because I fear that every people who are controlling our economic spaces in our village, all of them don't mean us well. Go and look at this Igbo Biafra. I fear for all of them, even marrying my sister, because they want to use them to infiltrate me. I fear everything they do. But like I said, we allow this fear to exist to help us to prepare for what is to come. And just like the Bible says, the fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom. And so the fear of all these things happening to you as a Nigeria is the beginning of the application of wisdom. And now that we fear, what do you think we do? What do you think we do? And now I'm a father by the grace of God. And now I have children. Majority of them are graduating already from tertiary institutions from around the world. And I told my first son, I'm proud of you. I'm very, very proud of you. You will go and do in fact, he's doing his NYSC already. He's in the camp. I won't tell you where he is. He has his life to live. I ordinarily would not want to drag them into my timeline. This is my cross. I will carry it alone. And I told him, once you are done with your NYSC, you're going to learn handwork. And that is the truth. When he graduates, well, now he has graduated. When he's done with the youth service, when he comes back home, instead of him to go and begin to look for work, he's going to learn handwork. You know, this is where most of you will say education is a scam. My brother, go and check how many Nigerians are graduating from tertiary institution as we speak, and still tell me that education is a scam. And even though education is a scam, may God allow us to be scammed by becoming graduates than not to go to school and refuse to be scammed. Because in the end, you are last mugu. And most of you will be mocking at them. Hey, you don't go university, you can't learn mechanic, you can't. No, they must learn it. Because I have to equip them. And so that fear of Nigeria not giving them employment in the nearest future, they can make use of the order, but they can't be in the same level with you. I remember that should be around 2008 or thereabout, when one Imo State woman was in charge of aviation in Nigeria. And then the company I worked for was given the contract to renovate the Port Harcourt International Airport. And I happened to be among the crew or the team that went to carry out that construction work. And I remember when they were discussing about the terms of the contract, everybody that were present in that hall that day were introducing themselves. The guy that was in charge of the airport maintenance engineering section then, he should be from Delta State. They call him Engineer Odegi. And when everybody finished introducing themselves, the man who represents my company stood up to introduce himself and said, I am engineer so. And then the airport engineer told him, my friend, how will you say you are engineer? And I was shocked, because we call my boss engineer. And say, you are not engineer, my friend. You are a technician. Did you go to school? My boss hated that man till tomorrow morning because of that statement. And then that was the first time I began to know, okay, when you are a graduate, you are engineer. And even when you did not go to school and you can do the job with the one with the certificate, you are a technician. Because the engineer does not even know a quarter of what my boss knows. But you see, when it comes to what you call scam, he mesmerized my boss. And who gives a damn? And so we prepare our children because of the fear in case Nigeria do not give them employment. They can create employment for themselves. We also fear Igbo unity. This Igbo unity, we are afraid of Igbo unity. Everybody is Igbo, everybody is Igbo, everybody is Igbo. We have never benefited anything from Igbo people. If you trace our history down till the very beginning of our existence, there is nothing in our land we can see that we benefit from these Igbo people from Southeast. And then we are afraid where this will lead us to. A people who want to dominate you, a people who want to control you, a people who want to be your leader by every means necessary, and the people who have voice more than you inside one Nigeria. And until we develop people who will have that voice like them, my brother, fear. This fear now will give you the application of wisdom. And the application of wisdom is why we are calling them out. We cannot allow them to use us and dump us. I don't know if you are getting it now. And then they wake up one day, they did not contact you. They're not saying, Igodomi Godo Biafra, Ikwere Biafra, Esha Biafra, Arabanto Biafra, Urobo Shekiri Biafra. My brother, this should make you to be afraid, because they are going to use you for bulletproof when things go wrong. And now this fear, the application of wisdom, is for you to come out and disassociate yourself entirely from them. And the work we are doing here now, if Hausa begin to come out and begin to drag us into what we are not part of, we will call them out. If Yoruba does that, we will call them out. Because this fear now enables us to develop a defense mechanism. The only thing that will ensure our survival. And so when I say that the fear of Nigeria is the beginning of the application of wisdom, look at those things you fear about Nigeria. Let your people begin to develop knowledge, wisdom, and understanding to checkmate that very action. peradventure, things go haywire. Peradventure, things did not work as they planned it. You are the collateral damage. We have seen a lot of things we are not supposed to see. We have heard things we are not supposed to hear. And then it's going to be a cool day in here if we allow these people to pull their shot against our people when we know the truth. And this fear has prompted us to constantly follow them up on social media and every other platform and expose them when necessary. You should be afraid that there are cultism among the youths of your people. You should be afraid when there are many of your people who are into drug pushing and human trafficking. You should be afraid and not to begin to shiver, to begin to see how you will liberate them. And today we know that if we don't do what we are doing, 90% of our youth will begin to fight their fathers. They will fight their monarch. Because they will be empowered by this expansionist. They will antagonize you. And then we are gone as a people. It's not as if they are going to have future with these Igbo Biafra unity beggars. No, all of us will be destroyed in the end. And so this fear has become the beginning of the activation of the wisdom and everything we can claim we know. Like I said, a very short one. We'll continue from here tomorrow. But until then, let me go to the comment section and collect my insult, my morning vitamins. And I want to believe you understand what I mean by this broadcast. The fear of Nigeria should be the beginning of the application of wisdom. Anything you fear about Nigeria, my brother, this is the time to talk about it. Let's go there and see the insult. I see John. Good morning, George. Thank you for educating us. I thank you, John. I am humble. I see Achoibe. I greet you, my brother. Good morning from here. John said, my brother, many of those Igbo people know they hear word like zombie one way. Of course, they will hear. They will hear. He said that they will hear our message or they will hear it. Who is their choice? Yamani no meneka honi horachi konzuko iken. Yamani gragra hu weri me weru ni wesi son we monopoly over it. Uganji ne lagodenga hoto. We can they will hear. They will hear. It's just that we've not responded. We are only talking. Only few of us talking. Only few of us talking. That is why they are still doing that. But there is a stage for talking and there is a stage for doing. We are just talking, and very soon we'll be doing. And all these things will be a yardstick and a testament to the fact that we cried out. Why are Igbo elite not telling their people to shut down their useless unity begging? Very unfortunate anyway. I see Nicholas. He said the Igbos are mercenaries from Ijebu Owo. And of course, maybe, but they should understand that we have suffered enough in their hand. And now, let's look at it, fellow Nigerians. If you are an Igbo person, if you are an Hausa person, if you are a Yoruba person, think about everything you have enjoyed in the name of one Nigeria. And then, think about what the other 247 ethnic groups pressed under the carpet by this three. Think about, put yourself in their shoe and tell me you'll be proud you are one Nigeria. But yet we are proud we are one Nigeria. And you people don't think it's time for fair play so Nigerian can go forward. I have to call the Igbo out because these Igbo Biafra people are the only senseless ones I see among them. Their pride is their vanity. Their pride is their vanity. Because they believe they can do anything and go away with it. Let's see them. Drop your insult, Igbo Biafra. Drop your insult. And I see Nicholas, say, Mr. George, before the amalgamation of Nigeria, there was no such thing as Yoruba, Hausa, and Igbo. Of course, we know. We know. And they know. The people call Yoruba not Yoruba. They know. The Igbo you see have come from one name and they form it. Thank God to Samuel Ajayi Crowther. And honestly, I know there were people called the Hausa people. But it's not this Hausa in nature you see today. Something actually happened. And that is why I keep telling you the conspiracy of Wazobia. Because that things didn't work as it was planned. It's just the same plan the Europe have. The meeting they had in Berlin conference to make the life of Africa miserable, dividing us among Francophone, Englandphone, Arabianphone, Portugalphone, everybody full, and we are our enemy full. And now they want we should be afraid and not talk about it. The Bible says don't fear. I see Davis here. He say Nketara, go and find. I know what go and find what they do. I know he wanted to say go and find what to do. This your sudden what? But you are Igbo man, Nicholas. This your southern origin and language, but have embedded Bini culture. Nicholas, you are Igbo man, so I don't have problem with your insult. You only help me. All of a sudden, I speak Igbo language. All of a sudden, I'm from Benin. Have you seen Benin people going mad as your Igbo people are going mad, or you people don't know you are going mad? Tell me in a time like this, which ethnic group in Nigeria is actually forcing any other ethnic group? Yoruba is not doing that. Hausa is not doing that. Middle Belt are breaking out from the Hausa Union now. Idoma person know now that it's not Hausa. Igala person now know it's not Hausa. Gwari man now know it's not Hausa. Nupe, and all of them know. Do you see Hausa people dragging them? Isheki Yoruba, no, they are not Yoruba. Benin, no, they are not Yoruba. Do you see Yoruba people organization? Afeni Ferreri, all of them say, oh, you must be Benin. Why is Indigo doing that? Because they're still living in the past. Outdated strategy. What a shame. I see different Blackie here. Say good morning, George Onyebe. Well done, sir, for your good work. Thank you. Different Blackie. I see Daniel Ongora. I say good morning, sir. Biafra bingos are getting the message. Of course, we begged them. Before now, most of them don't know. We begged them. We asked them to stop it. They refused. They thought they have monopoly over it. And they are the one who set up Social Media Warrior. And maybe tomorrow broadcast, I will tell you how they function on social media, so that most of you understand. It's been very difficult, very challenging. The task to keep this thing running, believe me, is capital intensive. But for some reason, we're not coming out public to beg money, because this will demean what we are doing. But each and every day, we pray for God to touch the mind of people who will understand what we are trying to prevent from our people. And then the moment they begin to sponsor this platform, we will disappear and allow the real people to defend us on this outpost. The Igbo people have been there before now. Maybe my broadcast tomorrow will be in this direction, so you know how these Igbo Biafra people function on social media. But we told them, like the Spartans and the Grecians, though they may control millions of soldiers, social media warriors, we have led them to a narrow corridor. And every slash of waves of their sword will come to nothing. You see, on this narrow corridor, in this uncompleted building, this is where we hold them. They will never forget that name. They gave it to me, uncompleted building. They will never forget it. This is where I bring it to an end. We'll see you later on. Have a nice day.